I'm Kayla Minster, and today my report on William Chandler Bagley and how he dedicated his life to education. He was born in Detroit, Michigan, March 15th of 1874. He decided after he graduated high school that he thought he would like to become a farmer. So he chose to go to Michigan Agricultural College in 1895, and after he graduated that year, he had no money and no land, so farmer was out for him. Then he decided that he would teach in a one-room school in Garth County, Michigan. This decision changed his life, and he decided that he wanted to dedicate his life to the teaching and education. In 1898, to further his own education, he went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison and completed his Master's of Science degree. 2 years later, he was awarded his PhD in 1990 from Cornell University in New York. He chose to work at an elementary school after that in St. Louis, Missouri. In 1902, he served as a professor of psychology and pedagogy at Montana State Normal School in Dillon. He taught in Dillon for 4 years, and during that time, he dedicated his time to the education of teachers. And while he was devoted to the education of teachers, he would also write. And he has written many, many books all about education, but his first one that he wrote was The Educative Process. After the 4 years at Dillon, he and his wife departed to New York State, where he served for 2 years as a professor of education at, I'm sorry for my pronunciation, Oswego State Normal School, and Oswego is spelled Oswego. So I am sorry if I am not pronouncing it correctly. There he taught pedagogy and was principal of the Oswego's practice school for teachers. Pretty much every school and everything written about him says that he really wanted to change the way teachers taught. He was a huge critic of progressivism and pragmatism. Traditionalism, not so much. He didn't completely criticize it, but mainly he invented essentialism. He was the founder, and there was others that supported him and helped him to do so. After he taught at Oswego's, he considered teaching at a university, and shortly after, he was offered a position in 1908 to serve as professor of education at the University of Illinois. He taught 9 years in Illinois, and one day he successfully argued against the traditional position that teachers didn't need special preparation for work. One of his main goals was to be a leader in the field of education and an authority on curriculum for education of teachers. He and others began to bring forth essentialism. I already told you that, though. Keep it in mind. It's very important. Write it down. He didn't want to entirely, with the people he was working with, get rid of progressivism and pragmatism, traditionalism. So what he did, and everyone else, was they wanted to just correct the direction for the American education, and so they combined progressivism and traditional education. William Bagley's biggest contribution was the founding of essentialism, where the teacher is in charge and is planned a consistent agenda, where the basics of education are to be taught and open to everyone, where anyone can go to school. Essentialists are a major support to the No Child Left Behind program. So essentialism is in fact still around today, and teachers, I notice, a lot of them are, in a way, an essentialist. One of the important roles for a teacher, an essentialist teacher, is to set the character in the environment where learning takes place, to take charge. Usually essentialist teachers use books. They don't do hands-on experience like progressivists and pragmatism. And essentialists have a particular emphasis in mathematics and science. My personal thoughts on essentialism is I like it. I think it's fine. Teachers today, I think if I'm going to be a teacher, and I think I will be more like an essentialist teacher than a pragmatist or progressivist. I do think that experience is needed, but not in the way that a pragmatist or progressivist would think. I do think that basics should be taught in school, like English, and if someone's going to be an accountant, I don't think they should completely take out English in that way. I do think the basics are a necessity, and I do think that education should be taught so that it prepares people for the social world. And this is my report on William Chandler Bagley. I hope you learned from it. I know I did. Thanks. Bye.